Hi everybody, welcome back to FRAG-MENTAL. I've got a very special guest. My mum is helping us out today. We're going to be talking about a newish release from Parfums Vintage called Cacophony. You ready?
I'm ready.
Word to my mother. Okay, so let's get into it. Mum, welcome back to FRAG-MENTAL.
Thank you.
So we're going to get straight into this. We're talking about Cacophony from Parfums Vintage. They did send me this bottle, just to be transparent about that, but as usual my opinions are going to be honest. Let me just tell you the notes in this. We've got citruses, bitter orange, neroli, jasmine, rose, patchouli, orris, incense, olibanum, benzoin, woody notes, musk, vanilla and white chocolate. Okay, so lots going on in here, as would be implied, I think, by the name. What does the word cacophony mean to you, Mum?
It means a lot of things all going on at the same time.
Right, yeah, and I think that really just is a good name for this fragrance. So you wore this one yesterday. You wore this through the day.
Right.
So it was great for me because I got a chance to see what it smells like off somebody else.
Yes.
The projection, the sillage, and also, you know, I know what this feels to wear myself. So just remind yourself of what this one smells like.
Yeah, it's lovely. It is very citrusy. Yeah. Yes, I like that.
Yeah, it does have some citruses in it. Let me tell you a little bit about the background of how this fragrance came about and of the company. So this is made by a company called Parfums Vintage. And what they primarily do is make fragrances that are inspired by other very popular fragrances. Sometimes they're a lot cheaper, sometimes they're a little bit cheaper. This one is inspired by a vintage Chanel fragrance called Coromandel.
Right.
I don't know if you've heard of Coromandel?
I haven't, no.
No? So Coromandel is part of the current Chanel Les Exclusives line, which is a higher tier of price, really. So you've got your standard Chanel prices like number 5 and Chance, and then the Les Exclusive line is more expensive, so I guess kind of higher quality ingredients. The name of this one came about because a Coromandel screen is, do you know what a Coromandel screen is?
No.
So it's one of the Chinese lacquered screens that they used to have in the 18th century, you know, with all the Chinese floral designs, and apparently Coco Chanel fell in love with these screens and created Coromandel as an inspiration. She was inspired by these screens. And when you smell it, it smells very vintage and classic and timeless, I think. You can imagine someone in their 30s or 40s.
Yes, I know.
Wearing this fragrance, but it's not dated either, is it? I think it's very wearable today.
Yeah, very.
Yeah, and what Parfums Vintage have done with this, because sometimes they just tweak composition. So if they feel that there's a fragrance that could benefit by having certain notes kind of accentuated and boosted, it's just they can give a different take on the composition. Some people may think it's better, some people may think it's not better, but they just try and just tweak things just a little bit. And what they've done with Cacophony is, this is based on the Coromandel Eau de Toilette, which is now discontinued.
Okay.
So you can currently still buy the Eau de Parfum, which I've smelled in store, but it was a while ago, so I can't really remember it enough to compare it to this one. But the Eau de Toilette, which many feel is better than the current Eau de Parfum version, you can no longer buy. So this is another thing that Parfums Vintage do sometimes, is they create fragrances that you can't buy anymore. Right. Okay, so lost to time, and they will resurrect them. So this is based on the Eau de Toilette because they feel that the Eau de Toilette had a little more liveliness. I think the lighter kind of citrusy notes, patchouli, were allowed to shine a little bit more. So it was a brighter, more effervescent composition. They feel in the current EDP that the more mature notes, so things like the vanilla, the musk, the woody notes and the incense would kind of take over a little bit, so you would lose these brighter notes. So they've tried to go back to that with it. So that's just a little bit of background on what Parfums Vintage are doing with this. So did you enjoy wearing this yesterday?
Yes, I did, yes. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like it very much.
Yeah, and you pick out, you mentioned the citruses. Yeah, I get the citruses as well, and I really enjoy it. It's got bitter orange, and to me, it reminded me of the kind of bitter orange you get in a, have you ever smelled an old-fashioned cocktail?
The one that's called an old-fashioned?
Yeah.
I can't just recall,
right.
no,
well, I've drunk
I don't think so.
And it's got bitter orange in it, and there's that element, that a similar smell, so it does remind me of that drink, although other than the bitter orange, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a boozy scent.
No, no,
yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, no. But there's lots going on.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's quite smooth at the same time. It's all nicely blended together. You tend to find that with Parfums Vintage, that the compositions smell really natural and nicely blended. So you can't really, I don't think there's any one note that really peaks out above the rest. That it seems to be a nice kind of balanced
I'd agree with
fragrance.
that. Yes. Yeah.
Now, one of the big things in this is patchouli. And when I first started getting into fragrances, I wasn't really aware of what patchouli smelled like. And so, I mean, I'm guessing that you probably, if someone said, can you describe the smell of patchouli, could you?
No, I couldn't. No.
So I've handily got some patchouli oil for you to smell, essential oil.
I've heard of it, but never.
It's very popular note in fragrances. It adds, it can sometimes add an earthiness to the composition. Maybe it's used such a lot that maybe it's a fixative type ingredient, so it just helps other notes in there. And it's usually used in the heart or the middle of the fragrance or in the base of the fragrance.
What does it derive from?
It's a plant. As far as I know, that's the only thing I know, and the little picture on here is a plant. So it's a green leafy plant. Right. So do you want to have a smell of that? Now, I don't know if that'll smell exactly like Cacophony, because there's 4 different types of patchouli. So there are different types of patchouli. You can get earthier patchoulis and smoother patchoulis.
Yeah, there's definitely a hint of this in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get that earthiness. Which I've really started to be able to pick out patchouli in fragrances, and I really enjoy it. It almost gives a punchiness to the fragrance, a little earthiness, a little potency. It gives a fragrance a bit of backbone, I think. A bit of attitude. And so that with the nice bright citrusy notes, and then the smoother, like the musk and the vanilla and the incense, I think it's a really nice.
Yeah, it works very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you pop the top.
Yeah.
Back on that. Now, Dad actually came up here. He snuck into the FRAG-MENTAL studio yesterday, and he saw this bottle hanging around, so he thought he'd have a little spray. He thought he'd help himself to a little spray, and he came downstairs saying, I think I've just put some perfume on. And I said, look, no, it's unisex. It's absolutely unisex. But I think that he probably, I mean, I've given him a few fragrances, but I don't think he's worn that many over the years. And if he has, they've been very masculine colognes. Yeah, so to him, I think he felt that this was maybe a little bit on the feminine side. How do you feel about it? Let me spray it on me, and then you can see what you think of it on me. But just from your experience of wearing it yesterday, did you feel that it was more feminine, or do you think it could be unisex, worn by both?
I think it very much depends on the person. It's much too feminine for Dad.
Okay, right. Well, what do you think on me then? Do you think too feminine on me? I mean, if that's your honest opinion.
I think you could get away with it. I think maybe somebody younger would get away with it better.
That's interesting. Yeah, so if it's a male, maybe a younger male, perhaps. Yeah, because it's a bit more floral, perhaps. Yeah. I mean, I find that in this, the patchouli gives it a nice little kick, which to me gives it a nice masculine edge. Not to say that it's not feminine as well. It is. I think it's completely unisex. But for me to wear it, I think the patchouli stops it from being too feminine. So I really enjoy that aspect of it. Yeah. And I enjoyed, I was walking behind you yesterday. We were outside, and it was projecting really well off you and the sillage trail. So the trail that if I was walking behind you, I could smell it. And I really enjoyed it. And you get a different experience smelling it off someone else.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
So is this one that would you buy if you smelt this in a shop? Would you buy this?
Well, I like it very much, yes, I would, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, classic, timeless Chanel fragrance, reimagined by Parfums Vintage.
Yeah, nice for day or night time, I would have said.
That leads us on to, when could you wear this? And I think it is a versatile fragrance. I think it could be a daytime signature scent. I think it could be, you could wear it dressed up, couldn't you, for a formal occasion?
Yes, yeah, you could.
Date night?
Yep, yeah. If we had one.
So, also, time of year. Is there a specific time of year that you think you'd wear this? Does it lend itself to wear in the high heat or colder weather?
Well, yeah, I would think it's more of a summery type of perfume.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
For me, anyway.
Yeah, you could totally wear this in summer. I think this would work really well. But I think it's full-bodied enough to carry it off in the colder weather.
Probably, yeah.
But also, I think because it's got the brighter notes and because it's got the more mature, darker notes of the incense and vanilla and the patchouli, and it's got that greenness that the patchouli lends to it. So I think it works well in spring as well.
Yeah,
I think it's a nice springtime fragrance, It
reminds me of sunshine when I smell it.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's a great description, actually. So yeah, versatile in terms of occasions and in terms of when you could wear this. So if you were to rate this out of 10, what would you give it?
I really like that. I'd give it 10.
Yeah,
I really like it. Yeah.
All right. I think you're edging for a decant, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right. We'll bring this one to a close. Thanks, Mum, so much for joining me. It's always good to have another opinion and a female opinion in the videos.
Yeah, pleasure.
Always good to get a word from your mother as well.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to bring this to a close. Let us know, are you a fan of Coromandel? Have you tried the EDT and the EDP? Do you think there's a difference? Have you tried this one? Do you think this is a nicer interpretation and closer to the discontinued EDT? Any thoughts on this one? Leave some comments down below, it'd be great to get a conversation going. Okay, so we're going to sign off from here. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you found it useful. Remember, keep tuning into FM and keep smelling good. Word to my mother. There's another one that does a video and he says word to your mother.
Oh, I see.
So I'm just having a joke saying word to you.